What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're coming back to Sleep Token. Yes, indeed, Sleep Token fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity boobity bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Charles B, and this is actually one of Charles B's 3 prioritized requests for the month of June for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So, here you go, Charles. Hope you enjoy the show, man. Charles wanted to see me react to this. It is Sleep Token with a tune called Chokehold.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, yeah, I've heard this song before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. As always, Charles has provided me with an intro to read to all of you, so here we go. When we kickstarted this path down Sleep Token's discography, I started you first on Alkaline from their second album, This Place Will Become Your Tomb, then went back to the beginning of their career, and went from there. Unlike most reactors who are requested first their more recent tracks that have the most views, then given a random assortment of their past tracks with no context, I wanted to do it differently with you, David, which was to take you on a journey of Sleep Token. I was not interested in requesting the way it's done with almost everyone just to get a cheap reaction that may get views but is forgettable in the long run. I'm about the big picture, and he is. Which is not about trying to get you to react to every popular track first, but that over time you would appreciate artistically what Vessel and 2 were offering and their own musical journey. You may not have liked every track along the way, which I have not, but there have been some great ones. But again, in the big picture, that wasn't the point. But in fact, it is worthy of pointing out that there were tracks, that you did end up enjoying that most wouldn't have guessed that you would. That's true. There were some very pleasant surprises. Sadly, at least in the comment section of many of these YouTube video posts, this goal was missed by many. Yeah, I trust me. I read every single comment and I see them. Oh, I love the people that complain about it too. Those are the best, aren't they? The ones that sit there and complain about the requests that are made. Look, if you don't like the request, do something about it and go and request the songs that you want to hear. Don't sit there and complain in the comments section about it, because it's not going to accomplish anything. It's just not. Anyway, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. May did not pick up on this and seemed to think that I was under some kind of obligation to make my Sleep Token request the same as everyone else's, picking the tracks based on the number of views first. Nothing could be further from the truth. Matter of fact, some went beyond with not only rude comments, but straight up insults and nasty remarks to me. To those people, those kind of comments were not only uncalled for, but reflects how some of you really need to fix yourselves if you feel the need to behave like that because a request isn't being made the way you want them to be. Man, I couldn't have said it better myself. And you weren't paying attention to what I was actually doing. Furthermore, I am under no obligation to make my request the way that you want me to, or the way that you think should be made on made based on popularity, especially since my aim was different. I do not follow the crowd. I do not do things because it seems that's whatever everyone else is doing. It's kind of like me. If that's how you move in the world, that says far more about you than it does about me, and you should think about that. What's interesting is that when there was a track that came up that you did not like from Sleep Token, they very ignorantly said that I had requested a more popular, or that I, what? Wait a minute. What's interesting is, let me try that again. What's interesting is that when there was a track that came up that you did not like from Sleep Token, they very ignorantly said that I had requested a more recent popular track. You for sure would have enjoyed it. Oh, meaning me. Okay, I get it now. But that turned out to not be the case because there were popular tracks from Sleep Token that you really did not like, such as the Room Below version of Bloodsport. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I remember that one. I was not a fan of it. You not only hated it, but much preferred the original version. I did. But wondered why the original was so much less popular. Yeah, I did. Why? Why was the original less popular? Those people, by the way, were nowhere to be found in the comment sections of those videos after they were insulting me and were so certain that you were going to enjoy those, but ended up not. That's funny, isn't it? This proved that a track being popular does not guarantee that you, David, were going to also like it, which is something they never considered. Also, by going in order of the start of their musical career, you along the way discovered tracks that you really enjoyed the most would never get it requested, like Field of Elation. I love that song, still do. Which you kept praising even in other later reviews. These detractors, though, would ignore this, even though they were actually wonderful moments, since they weren't the tracks they wanted you to react to. Another great thing is that by me requesting Sleep Token in this journey-like fashion, there are certain reactions from you that never would have happened the way they did had it been done in the same mindless way of picking the more recent popular tracks first. Reactions from you like for The Offering, Sugar, Gods. Still my favorite track from them, Gods. I think that's still my favorite, etc. are unique in the world of Sleep Token reactions, and that haters just didn't recognize that. However, there were some in the comment section that did pick up on what I was aiming for, or at least acknowledged that how you were experiencing Sleep Token was original, and they did appreciate that. To those people, thank you. It does mean something to me that there are others who noticed this and enjoyed what was happening, since that was my whole goal here. For those that don't know, David has a whole Sleep Token playlist that is programmed in the order of his reactions. And if you play it from the beginning, you will get to experience his Sleep Token journey as I intended. Yep, it's there. Check it out. Check out in the playlist section. And that journey has now led us here, the moment that everyone has been waiting for. Oh, are we doing a recent thing now? We're doing some recent stuff? We have now arrived at Sleep Token's third album, Take Me Back to Eden, released on May 19th, 2023. One very important fact to bring up is that Sleep Token announced before this album's release that Take Me Back to Eden formed the third in a trilogy, along with their first two albums, Sundowning and This Place Will Become Your Tomb. That means it makes even less sense to request that Sleep Token newcomers get requested songs for their third album first. Yeah, that is weird, isn't it? Then go back and receive random songs from the first two parts of their intended trilogy. So as a reactor, David, you were lucky to get me to guide you here. Yeah, but that's a matter of opinion. I mean, I appreciate it, but everyone's going to have their opinions on that, whether I'm actually lucky or not. Let's see. In fact, you are a rare person in the reaction space to arrive at Take Me Back to Eden with a decent understanding of who Vessel and 2 are as music artists. So the reactions and reviews you will be giving here will be unique, just like many of your previous reactions to Sleep Token were unique as well, because of this journey-like fashion I took you down. When I first requested Sleep Token to you with Alkaline, I described them in that intro as a band that fuses metal with other genres like R&B, pop, hip-hop, jazz, shoegaze, ambient music, etc., and even dips into metalcore and black metal. At the time, you seemed to misunderstand and thought I was talking about that one song, Alkaline, but I was talking about their discography as a whole. Since then, you should have picked up on this. I have. And with their third album here, you will get to see how they continue with their unique sonic progression and alternative metal experimentation. In some tracks, they will, for instance, go much further with R&B, which was only previously hinted at in previous tracks like Sugar. In some others, they will bring in new elements and do their styles they never did before. You won't quite know what you're going to get with every new track you listen to. Before, with their album Sundowning and This Place Will Become Your Tomb, I had you listen to 6 of each album's 12 tracks and in different order than they were found in each album. With Take Me Back to Eden, though, out of this album's 12 tracks, you will be reacting to 10 of them. Oh, not right now. Over the course of the months here, folks. Don't panic here. Calm down. It's going to be okay. This will be reacting to 10 of them, and this time I will be presenting them to you in the very order they appear on the album. And so we begin with the album's very first track, which was also chosen as the very first single to be released, Chokehold. Woo! There we go. That's the intro, folks. All right, so this was posted by Sleep Token. No surprise there. And the video has 13 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Sleep Token, Chokehold. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
When we were made, it was no accident. We were tangled up like branches in a flood. I come as a blade, a sacred guardian. So you keep me sharp and test my worth in blood. You got me in a chokehold. You got me in a...
You know, it's funny. Right before all the other voices kicked in, and it was just the synth. It was just a synthesizer. I was thinking to myself, I wonder what would have happened if instead of a synthesizer, what if they had just used a piano and just done the 3 octave notes, boom, 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 and just done those 3 octave notes every once in a while, throwing the 3rd in there, every once in a while, throwing the 7 in there, every once in a while, throwing the 4th in there. And that's exactly what happened through the entire first minute and 45 seconds. That's all it was just those 3 octave notes, and every once in a while, there's the minor 7. Every once in a while, there's the minor 3rd. Every once in a while, there's the 4th. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it was just those octaves, those 3 octaves. How would that have sounded if it had just been an acoustic piano? I think it would have sounded really good. I think it would have sounded amazing, actually. I think, and I'm going to say this, I think it might have actually sounded better than the synth. Now, I have a feeling there's a reason for utilizing the synth, and I think it has to do with the fact that they're bringing in an acoustic piano voicing in on top of the synth now. if it had been the other way around and it had been piano and then adding the synth on top of the piano, I think the synth would have killed the piano. The piano would have absolutely been buried. But because they're doing it with the synth first, adding the piano on top, it survives. The synth doesn't get buried, and the piano is able to thrive on top of it. I think the piano would have sounded great, though, on that intro. I really do. I kind of wish I could hear that. But the synth sounded good. I got no complaints about the synth usage. It makes sense, considering what is being thrown on top of it now, between the drums and the piano.
You got me in a chokehold. You got me in a chokehold. You got me in a
Those bends. Slight bends. I like that. I like those syncopated accents, man. Yeah. And it was never the same pattern twice in a row. Each time it was different. You know, one time it was down, down, and then you heard those bends, those ever so slight bends. Wow, wow, wow. Just going up maybe 10, 15 cents at most. And just getting that slight little bend. And then another syncopated rhythmic pattern. Like just quarter notes. Don't. And then da-da-do. Each time different. Bringing something new to the table. No established pattern. I like it. Because it is accents. And that's all it is. And then it lays out before it comes back in with a different rhythmic assault. I like it. I definitely like that. Let's keep going here. Going back to the octaves again. Ooh. Adding the guitar in there, that's nice.
I've seen my days unfold and the impossible. I've turned my walls to gold to bring you home again. So show me that which I cannot see, even if it hurts me. Even if I can't sleep, oh, and knowing act out of a holy duty to be constantly
Bomb, yeah. Wow. Nice. Get it, Vessel. Good job on that sustain. And ending how we started with the synthesizer on the 3 octaves. Huh. Not my favorite. Not my favorite song by Sleep Token, but I didn't hate it. Not even remotely close. I'm not sure where I would put this, honestly. I wouldn't put it top 3, but I wouldn't put it under 50% either. I don't know. I need to think about this. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. There you go, folks. That was Sleep Token with Chokehold. This was a request from Charles B. And this was actually one of Charles B's 3 prioritized requests for the month of June for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So, there you go, Charles. Hope you enjoyed the show. Okay, I know this has already been a long video, and I'm going to do my best to keep the review on as short as I can, but there's some things we need to discuss for sure. So I'm going to do my best to keep it short, so let's get to it, shall we? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that an 8.2. Yup, 8.2. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, an 8.2. What does that mean? Well, an 8.2 would translate to a great scale rating. So overall, I think this was a great song. It would also get 4 to 5 stars and an A- letter grade. So there you go, an 8.2, great scale rating, 4 to 5 stars, and an A- letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. It's not my favorite song by Sleep Token. It's not, and I'm gonna say this as respectfully as I possibly can. It's not even close to being my favorite song. There were a few other songs that would be in a better position to contend for the top spot than this one would be. Having said that, though, it's not in the lower 50%. This is in the top half of songs for me personally that I enjoy. This is in the top half of all the Sleep Token songs I've heard, for sure, as far as personal enjoyment goes. But as far as the technicality of the song, this is, and they kind of go hand in hand. The biggest selling point for me on this song, both on a personal level and from, an evaluation standpoint, it's got to be the rhythmic patterns, those subdivisions that were happening, those syncopated rhythmic patterns happening between the synth, the guitar, the bass, the drums, those syncopated accents, those syncopated attacks, followed by the bends, and I'm almost positive that was on a guitar, that were just subtly bending up slightly, just enough to get like a 10, maybe 15%, or 10 to 15 cent pitch shift. It was very slight. I mean, if you're not paying attention, you might almost miss it. It was very subtle, but it was done just enough to catch my ears, and I went, oh. And it wasn't an accident because they did it every single time. It sounded really good. I liked, and then each time coming out of those bends, we would get back into those syncopated attacks again, and it was never the same thing twice. It was always different, and I like the variety. I do. I really like the fact that it was syncopated. Okay, if it had been everybody filling out a chord and just holding a chord and just letting 2 go to town, and let him do all the rhythmic pattern work, would that have sounded good? I think it would have sounded good, but I don't think it would have been anywhere near as effective as it was with everybody coming in on those syncopated attacks, paying attention to those accents, hitting them all as hard as they possibly could in unison, and then laying out for those bends. I think that was such a great contrast. You couldn't help but pay attention to it. The usage in the beginning of those 3 octaves, I talked about utilizing a piano instead. Here's the trade-off. I think a piano would have sounded better for that section. And I absolutely stand by that. I think if they had done an acoustic piano, I think it could have really gotten a haunting sound. However, the trade-off would have been if you utilize the piano in the intro and then bring the synth in on top of it, you're gonna kill the piano. The piano's just gonna absolutely die under the attack and weight and sound and projection of that synthesizer. By doing it the other way around, the synthesizer could carry out, instead of having more of a melancholy sound, more of a sound of almost, I don't want to say a depressing sound, but definitely the melancholiness I think would definitely have been there. Instead, you get this subtle, eerie type of feel to it. And then the piano comes in on top of it, adding the softness to it to help kind of balance it out. It makes sense. The way that they did it makes absolute perfect sense. And despite the fact that I would like to hear what it would sound like with a piano, I don't want to risk it. I don't think, I think if I did that and I heard it, I would cringe knowing what's coming. And I don't think I'd be able to enjoy it. Now, the way they did it, I wouldn't change a thing for that intro. And the usage of those 3 octave notes, and every once in a while throwing in the flat 7, every once in a while throwing in the flat 3rd, every once in a while throwing in the flat 4. But really, about 80% of it sticking with those 3 octaves. That really gave it a sense of, I don't want to say impending doom, but it definitely made you leery, like, where are we going down this hole, you know? I felt like Alice, you know, going down. Where does this hole end? Too late, and next thing you know, we're plummeting. It definitely kind of made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up a little bit, and that was cool, man. That was very cool. Two's drumming on this, outstanding as always. I mean, I dig his drumming, man. I really do. He is a great drummer, and he showed off what he's capable of doing. Some very creative rhythmic placements, some very creative rhythmic patterns, some nice fills. Overall, just a great performance from him overall. Vocally, okay, this is where I'm gonna get a little controversial, possibly. I have heard better vocal performances from Vessel than this on other songs that I've heard on the channel in the past. I think I've heard more impressive delivery from him as far as range, as far as power, as far as projection. I think I've heard better vocal work from him than I've heard on this song. Here's the thing though, what he delivered on this song fit the song like a glove. If he had pushed more, if he had played with a more range, if he had played around with more power, if he had played around with a higher register or a lower register, I think it would, in the long run, I think it would have done a disservice to the song, because then the focus would have been all about him and not about the song as a whole. The song as a whole, really, the focus was on those rhythmic placements more than anything else. At least that's how it seemed to me. So what Vessel sang, while it may not have been the most impressive vocal delivery I've ever heard from him, actually by his own standard, this was pretty subdued. But there were some moments, in particular, the last note that he sustained, flatlined, no vibrato, just holding the note flatline. That's not easy to do. And on top of it, I don't recall how long he held it for. It was a while. And with the type of projection and power that he was demonstrating during that hold, he was using air quickly. So, I mean, he better be supporting, otherwise he's going to run out of gas real quick. But he showed some great sustain and some great vocal control by not utilizing vibrato to hold him or to hide him starting to waver and maybe start to go flat. No, he held it flatline, and that's not easy to do. It really isn't. So I gotta tip the cap to him on that. But I mean, his vocal delivery for this song sounded just fine. I had no complaints about it. And that's pretty much what I gotta say about the entire song. I got zero complaints about the song at all. I mean, I got nothing to complain about. I'm just not gonna sit here and posture and say, oh, this is my new favorite song. I'm not gonna say that unless I mean it. And I'm sorry, Gods is still number one. But this is, I wouldn't even put this top 3 or even top 5. But as it stands right now, I would definitely put it in the top 10. I think I've heard, I don't know how many songs I've heard from, let's say we've heard 20 songs on the channel from, I know we haven't heard 20. Have we heard 20? Maybe we have heard 20. I don't know. But however many songs we've heard from Sleep Token, cut it in half. Let's say it's 20, okay? Cut it in half and put it, and I would say it's in the top half, okay? So if it has been 20 songs, top 10. If it's been 18 songs, top 9. If it's been 16 songs, top 8, you know? Okay, fine. We'll I don't know if I would go farther than the top 8 though. Maybe. I don't know. I have to think about that, but top for sure. I mean, I did enjoy it. It was a fun listen. And I have absolutely no regrets hearing this song. I'm definitely going to listen to this song again. In conclusion, I'm just going to agree with everything that Charles said in the intro. Guys, listen. If you don't like someone's request, or if there are requests that you would rather hear, because that seems to be the big one. Why are you requesting this song? You should request this, or you should request this. First of all, Charles is paying through the nose to be a gold tier member, okay? If you don't know how much gold tier members are paying, it's an exuberant amount. It's a ridiculous amount. I intentionally made that price point high because this is gonna sound crazy, but I wanted to discourage people from joining the gold tier. I wanted people to not join the gold tier. And oddly enough, the gold tier has been sold out, like, since its inception. It's been sold out. Every time someone leaves, that gold tier slot is immediately filled within like an hour. The last time a gold tier slot opened up, it filled in less than 10 minutes. So I can't explain it, folks. I intentionally made the price point for the gold tier to be ridiculously high because I wanted to discourage people from joining. And wouldn't you know it, it backfired on me. But Charles is paying an exuberant amount of money to be a gold tier member every single month and get the 3 prioritized requests that he wants. He is paying for it, okay? If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but tough. You're not paying for it. He is. So of course he's gonna get the request that he wants. Now, if there are songs that you would rather hear me react to, or rather see me react to, there is a perfectly legitimate way to make that happen. Go and make the request officially on the Patreon page. Guys, it's not hard. And before you say, well, the bronze tier has been sold out. You're right, the bronze tier is sold out. But the beautiful thing about the bronze tier is people come and go on that bronze tier all the time. All the time. Every month I have at least 2 or 3 people at least leave and those slots are filled. Keep an eye on it. Watch it. Check it every day. If you really want to make those requests happen, that's the way to do it. Unless a silver tier opens up, or heaven forbid, a gold tier opens up. Those options are available too if they ever do open. But it's guys, complaining about it makes absolutely no sense because complaining about it isn't going to resolve it. It's not going to make anything happen. All it's going to make you do is look bad, you know, with your complaints in the comments. And like Charles said, he's the one forking out the cash. He's the one making the requests. And if you don't like it, too bad, you know. And I'm sorry, but I agree with him. You know, I absolutely agree with him. He made every single point he made is valid. So if you don't like it, too bad. And if you want to do something about it, there are ways to do that. Okay. So guys, seriously, in the comments, if you don't like what Charles requests, just deal with it, or just don't complain about it, because that's not going to change anything. Take initiative. If you want change to happen, make it happen. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say on that. So 8.2 for this song. I absolutely agree with that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap this all up in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have an 8.2, which is a great scale rating, 4 to 5 stars, and an A- letter grade. Take your pick. I don't care. Whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I've spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.